Okay, so bear with me. The covers are only Le Festin and La Vie en Rose. Those are literally the only songs that people cover, so links are in the description for those. In many ways, Ratatouille is one of the best films from Pixar. I don't know how well this video will do. As Ego says, we thrive on negative criticism, and some of my best performing videos are the videos where I'm ragging on a children's. If you look at my previous Cars video, it's my first video to 1,000 views. Now 2,000. That isn't a short. I don't have a lot of negative for this film. It's everything I look for, from the drama all the way to the love and action. It tells a very human story, and it has one of my favorite excerpts, that being, "Not everyone can be a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere." And I think this quote very much encapsulates the Pixar and Disney message overall. Moving on. The story does not resemble a mainstream animated story. The goal of the film is really met within the first 20 minutes if you think about it. Remy had the opportunity to cook in a Paris kitchen like right after the inciting incident. I will say my least favorite portions are with the colony of rats. It's not about it being gross or anything, I just believe it's a little less interesting than the mainstay story. However, it does highlight Remy's own differences between himself and the other rats. The pacing of the story is really awesome as well. We have moments where Remy is fighting for his life and then the drab stillness of the sewers only to climb the rafters up his apartment building, to then coming on to one of my favorite shots that Pixar's ever animated, the beautiful Paris skyline. And it immediately throws us back in to see the elegance as well as the general chaos of a gourmet kitchen. This pacing keeps an audience engaged and invested with what is happening. It allows us to stop on the beautiful points while also being immersed in the everyday danger of a point of view that's very rarely seen in the film. It has the trappings of every Pixar film as well, being we have Pixar's buddy comedy system, where there are generally two leads on an adventure. They rely on each other, yet Brad Bird puts a twist on this by taking their ability to communicate away from them. There's a level of reality we get from the movie because of this, and it heightens conflict as the two cannot effectively communicate. This also lends to the suspension of disbelief as it gives this level of reality and groundedness that then leads way to the acceptance from the audience that a rat could generally control a human with the ends of their hair more believable. We also have a unique set of two villains in this movie, one being Chef Skinner. Skinner's in an odd place for me, because he overstays his welcome in my opinion, and there are two sequences surrounding him I feel that are out of place. One is the chase sequence we have with Remy. Up until this point, I felt the film was very good, well paced, it's just a slice of life. However, we get this weird action sequence with Skinner that feels remarkably out of place, and that goes on for far longer than it should, and pushes that suspension of disbelief further than it ever should have. The second being anything after he is caught trying to hide that Linguini is Gusteau's heir. I feel like his story is just over at this point, and they kind of just keep him around for kids. He feels out of place in the final act of the movie. His plot to make Remy the chef of a frozen food line just makes no sense because no one knows who he is. But finally, we have Ego. Ego is truly a force, who also happens to have a coffin-shaped office. He is the embodiment of critics such as Roger Ebert. He's someone who let his own ego take over, as he is known to be the end-all be-all for restaurants, and his word is generally final. Linguini and Remy challenge this by making Gusteau's popular again. This sends Ego on a mission to finally end this restaurant, but it doesn't happen. He's more than impressed with his meal, calling back to his younger days as he would eat his mother's cooking, and this softens him up. Resolving to meet the chef, everyone leaves and they bring Remy out to meet him as they explain everything to him. And as it goes, with a click of a pen and a thank you for the meal, he leaves. Ego is something that Syndrome, Chick Hicks, or any previous villains in the Pixar canon couldn't be. And that is encapsulated by his resolve to be the last word, his overwhelming confidence in who he was, and his presence within the narrative. Everyone is afraid of him, and everyone knows who he is. Before he eats his meal, he asks for perspective from his waiter. When I was younger, I didn't have any idea what the hell he was talking about. Why do we create, and why is there art without meaning? Truly, that is the point of this. If the only goal was to impress the critic or to impress the audience, we are Ego as we sit in this theater looking for the why and ultimately bringing our perspective to then judge the merits on his creation that the artists may have just made because they love the art of it. The animation in this film is just amazing. Paris is just immensely immersive in this film, especially with the perspective of Remy. The character design in this demonstrates the medium of animation in the best way possible. Everyone just moves in such a way that's realistic, but also lends itself to the character design. This is exemplified in Linguini's general clumsy and loopiness to Remy's tight and calculated pitter-patter all the way to Colette's confidence. It all just is here. The art style is done in such a way that's almost resistant to aging computer animation as well. There's building and set design that looks absolutely realistic, but just cartoony enough to give it just this timeless feeling. I really can't stress enough how clean and just formal this art direction in this film is. The moments where they pan over the Parisian skyline has not failed to make me want to travel to Paris to experience all of that for myself. It all just remains this gorgeous piece, even 15 years later. I was 8 years old when this movie came out, and I'm 23 now, and it looks better than I have aged. Now we're just moving on to the music, which, oh my god, second to none. I thought The Incredibles had a good score, and it does. However, Ratatouille, again, just immerses you in the setting. I'm going to butcher the name, but Le Festin is an amazing theme, in its instrumental and the full lyrical versions. Every song serves a purpose and gives beautifully to the scene it's a part of. From Ego's dark theme to the high energy sequence the first time we're in a kitchen, the score just never ceases to elevate the energy of every scene. Take this sequence for example. After Remy escapes from the house, he's left in the sewer, alone, and at his lowest. With curiosity and the need for food, he travels up the sewers with a little pitter-patter in the score. He climbs and climbs and he climbs, passing many different scenes until he peaks with the song to Paris. It just fills you with so much wonder and amazement by the beauty. It takes you along the ride the whole way. And we continue on to the voice acting, where I can say in confidence this is one of the best voice casts we have seen in a Pixar movie. Patton Oswalt plays Remy brilliantly. He brings this energy to the character and really brings together the inner monologue and battle that Remy has with his various identities. Lou Romano, who is only an animator, just brings Linguini to life in a way that characterizes the goofy and aloofness of Linguini. Peter O'Toole as Anton Ego, just amazing. He plays Lawrence of Arabia as well in the old movie. He just gives Ego a presence that's accentuated by his slow speaking and pronunciation. The whole cast just makes this world feel so alive, and you can tell a lot of people's backstory just from the way that they speak. Linguini is loose, Colette is tight and organized with a word not wasted, and Skinner is just this little ball full of anger. I honestly feel like this movie just doesn't get the recognition it deserves. Partly I think it's because it's a bunch of rats in it, but I think it's come back with, you know, YouTube videos just praising it, as well as the TikTok trend with Le Festin. It's one of those things that just feel like this lightning in a bottle, and there's only one other film that really gave me the same feeling. Honestly, it's one of my favorites, better than The Incredibles or Monster Inc. The story just feels more personal than any of the other ones that I have. Ratatouille is getting the first 10. It's truly perfect. I struggle to find anything that I don't really like in it, and there you have it. The Pizza Planet truck can be seen here, and A113 can be seen here. Bye everyone. Have a good night. See you next time. So that was Ratatouille. Happy to be back, guys. I hope you've watched my other videos, and thank you for the support on the Cars video. I am moving on to WALL-E next, which is my personal favorite, so I'm looking forward to that. See you guys next time. Bye bye.